Hello, Daphne here with another video for you. This time it's titled, I Love Venice, Italy. I am so grateful to my parents because when I was a teenager, they took me all over the world. And it was from there that I gained my incredible love of travel. I remember a trip to Europe when I was still a teenager, and one of the stops was Venice, Italy. From that moment on, Venice has captured my imagination. It's such an amazing group of 118 islands sitting right smack on the northern edge of Italy in the Adriatic Sea. It's been around since the Roman Empire fell. That's one heck of a long time, if you ask me. And although all of us played Marco Polo in swimming pools across the country, Marco Polo was actually from Venice. Venice is famous for its beautiful lace and incredible Murano glass. The last time I was there, we were right after the flood, and in one Murano shop, they showed us a whole closet full of broken glass. It just absolutely was one of the most heartbreaking things I've ever seen. And that was just 2 years ago. So let me back up a little bit. My love of travel, as I said, came from my parents. We visited Venice together many, many years ago. That was my very, very first trip there. Here I am with my mother, father, and twin sister as we're cruising down one of the canals in Venice. I fell in love with that city then, and I still am enamored with it to this very day. But I am so grateful beyond description for my parents giving me such a love, such an inquisitiveness towards foreign countries, the people, the customs, the historic sites and places, the mores, everything about these foreign cities can be absolutely fascinating. And of course, I believe Venice is on the top of that list. Many years later, my husband and I went to Venice. I don't think he took to Venice quite like I have over the years, but that was probably because it was so crowded. I looked over the crowds to what was historic and beautiful, so Venice still held a great deal of magic for me. One of the most special times in Venice was several years ago when I gave my granddaughter Lily a trip to Italy as a graduation present from high school. And did we have fun? Well, that's a complete understatement. She was an incredible travel companion. And our last stop was Venice, Italy. And I can tell you that she fell in love with Venice just like her Grammy. We had the most wonderful time. We walked everywhere. We shopped on the Rialto Bridge. Do you know that that market is over 1,000 years old? That's a very, very ancient market. We had, as often as possible, Italian gelato. And was that ever good? Every afternoon we were hoping to spot another shop where we could sink our jaws into another delicious ice cream treat, Italian style. I had so much fun with Lily that time when we had lunch, sitting on the Grand Canal. Look at the weather. We were in Italy for 2 weeks, and the sky was robin's egg blue the whole time. That is a miracle in the wintertime, if you ask me. But here we are enjoying lunch outside on a winter's day. And it was a delicious lunch, wonderful conversation, and of course I love being with my beautiful, wonderful, sweet granddaughter. One of our last nights in Venice was New Year's Eve, and they set off the biggest round of firecrackers I have ever seen, all of them shooting straight up in the air over the Grand Canal. This was such a treat. The crowds were huge, The celebration's massive, and it was so much fun to bring in the new year with my granddaughter standing beside me, and it's a moment I will never forget. This last picture was taken one afternoon when we were returning from the islands of Burano and Murano. The sunsets in Venice were just spectacular. I thought, Mother Nature has outdone herself again. The colors were just amazing, and they stayed brilliant almost the entire way back to the main island, where we got off at San Marco Square. So, my friends, that is a short story about my love of Venice. It is a very amazing place, a unique place, I believe, one of the most unique in all the world. And then I think back, and I just hope that the tradition started by my parents taking me to Italy and to Venice all those years ago will be replicated by my granddaughter someday when she has children of her own. And maybe she and her children will bond over the beauty and magic of Venice, Italy.